That means talking cars. South Africans are becoming more and more passionate about vehicle safety. While they now view features such as ABS as a given in the cars, they are searching for vehicles that can be modified for additional security, despite the fact that they can carry a somewhat hefty price tag. This is reflected in the fact that cars with bigger carrying capacity currently rank higher in online searches. We're now joined by George Mienie, motoring industry expert, and the CEO of AutoTrader to unpack some of the data. George, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Now, most consumers don't necessarily invest in security measures for their vehicles outside of what car brands provide, like alarms or central lock systems, etc. Until now, what options are available to consumers at the moment?
Well, Unathi, thank you for having me. What we've noticed is almost a tenfold increase from pre-lockdown in people searching for security protection, particularly armored vehicles. In South Africa, there are OEMs and aftermarket suppliers that provide consumers with options of having their vehicles upgraded. As an example, BMW offers a protection vehicle class, which offers bulletproof windows, passenger cell-proof, bomb-proof, and hand grenade proof type materials within the car. And these vehicles are often highly sought after from people of interest like politicians or businessmen. And now normal individuals are searching for these kinds of cars too.
And now you mentioned armored car, and I mean, immediately I think of something completely different. It's a term that I think is used so many times and widely so. What exactly does it?
Armored vehicles are very expensive. An armored vehicle would cost you more than 550,000 Rand up to 1.5 million Rand. And as a matter of fact, the sky's the limit. It depends on what options you go for. And at the moment, there are 43 armored vehicles on AutoTrader, ranging from SUVs like BMW X5s, Mercedes-Benz ML500s, and Toyota Hiluxes. So often these cars look normal. And if heavy armoring is put onto the vehicle, then you can see that as an armored vehicle. But for normal individuals that aren't persons of interest, things like window smash and grab proofing, undercarriage defense, some sort of roof defense, and those kinds of things still cost a lot of money. You can't overemphasize, however, the things that we can do by just being alert, ensuring that there's a safe distance between you and the car in front of you, changing your route every time every couple of days when you go to the office or when you go on your travels, or just being prepared. Another thing consumers can do that won't cost 500,000 Rand is run flat tires. One of the safety measures that you can use is the fact that the car needs to keep moving. And if the car keeps moving, you can get out of a tricky situation.
Now, it does boggle the mind that while some consumers, many in fact, are cash-strapped as a result of the global pandemic that we find ourselves in, searches are still revealing that other consumers are willing to spend more to ensure their safety. What is this telling us about the behavior and concern of consumers?
Well, it's telling us that consumers are being more cognizant of the fact that their and their family's safety are important, not only in your home, but as you travel around in your vehicle. And we've seen this sort of behavior in the housing market where security has become a big deal. And now we're seeing it in vehicles. And a tenfold increase in armored vehicle searches since March is telling us that perhaps some of the economic turmoil or some other concerns by consumers are starting to play out in them searching for cars that are safer.
Now, final question, George, from me. Should businesses and dealers who provide armory and modifications expect an increase in demand of security additions to vehicles, or is the demand increase just as a result of the pandemic?
Well, yes and no. As consumer sentiment and confidence increases or decreases, so demand and supply for these things increase and decrease. With things like crime rates, as crime rates decrease, so consumers won't have an appetite for things like armored vehicles. So it really depends. Currently, the increase in searches indicates that consumers are probably concerned.
All right, George, thank you so much for your time. That is where we have to leave it for today. George Mienie, the CEO of AutoTrader, to unpack some of the data as it relates to vehicles.